Hey, it's Sammy and Natalie here, and welcome to the Anxiety Compass, where anxiety isn't the enemy, it's our tour guide. We'll swap stories, share tools, and have a laugh while we find our way back to true north. Come along. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. How are you, Nat?
I'm fabulous, Sammy. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm enjoying the changeover into winter. It's been beautiful. I'm just sitting
Mm,
outside today, looking up at the birds in the trees, and
mm.
yeah, I'm actually really enjoying the change of season.
We've had some spectacular days here in Brisbane the last week.
Oh, it's been
Really,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, but then as the months go on, you kind of want the summer back, and you're like, it's too cold. I
Not all of us. Not all.
don't want it all.
I'm in my prime now. I
Yeah.
love the winter.
I see. I'm more
But
of a
it's been a
summer girl.
perfect first week of winter.
Anyway, we are talking about the previous episode we've just done on vitamin D, talking about the seasons. But today we're going to be talking about, and something, if you listen to the episode we did talking about words and spells, Nat was mentioning a monologue that goes in her head about, I'm stupid. I was about to say, I'm not stupid. I'm stupid. And it's funny when you were sharing what goes on in your head, I had a mini reflection on my own journey with anxiety and all of the things that have happened in my life. And being stupid and feeling stupid was something that definitely it it paralyzed me for a long time, particularly as I was starting out in business. There's this anxiety behind always needing to be right, and if you don't know, it's like you feel silly, and you kind of have to. Oh no, I know that. Oh no, it's. I don't know if you've
Mm,
ever done that where
yeah,
someone's called you out on being wrong, and you feel really silly, and you have to kind of justify the reason why you've said something.
yeah.
Mm, interesting. Um, yeah, I noticed that the other day. I had a woman who gave me some feedback, and was completely harmless feedback on how I was parenting my children. And it felt like a personal attack at me. Like, even
Mm,
though what she was saying was out of the kindness of her heart, being a teacher, and giving me advice on a way that I was talking to my child, because she works with kids all the time, it was like there was an internal thing inside me to say, wow, she thinks I'm a bad person and I'm stupid and I don't know how to parent my kids. And all of a sudden, my body naturally went into attack mode. Like, don't tell me what to do. I'm not
mm,
stupid. Have you ever had that before?
yeah.
Like your ego
Oh,
takes over, if that's a
yeah.
thing. Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Or
And
maybe
look, you
someone
know,
like,
I'm a Leo as well.
yeah,
So
me too.
I was
I'm
going to say
always
we're both
right.
Leo, so that our ego can get
Yep.
bruised quite easily. It's something
Yep.
that we're constantly working on.
Yes, yes, yep. I also find like when someone points out a mistake, you tend to over-explain yourself, defending yourself, justifying your answers, which is what I was just saying, even though there's a part of you deep down that knows that they're right, but you
Yeah,
can't allow that to cross over. What
accept
is
that.
that about? And if you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, I do that. What is that about? Well, we're going to unravel that today on this podcast. This is going to be an interesting one.
Yes.
We're only going to be unraveling it based on our own professional experience in clinic, what we see as nutritionists, as well as our own personal experience that we've seen with friends and ourselves. Um,
Mm,
Looking at the compass, this is going to, I'm going to say it's going to be touching on an emotional part of the compass, our nervous system, the way it responds, as well as there's some chemical going on in there. What's going on? Because once shame enters the room, the nervous system often reacts as though we're under threat. And so the body releases all these chemicals in our body to protect us because that's what it's about, right? Controlling and
yeah.
protecting.
Yep.
So, why does being wrong feel so dangerous, Nat? Did you find, before I go any further, did you find when you first started in clinic that you didn't know enough. Like you had to keep researching and learning all the time so that you felt like you had enough information. You didn't feel stupid when you were seeing clients.
Oh, definitely. Like, there's definitely imposter syndrome when you first start practicing,
Mm,
because you feel like
the
you don't know
comparison.
everything. You can't keep every single bit of information in your head. Like you
Yeah.
just can't. But I felt embarrassed if I had to go, oh, hang on, and look through my notes
Yeah.
or, look something up. And then I realized that I'm human. My clients respected me more if I
You admit
said,
it.
yeah, oh,
Mhm.
I'm not sure about that. Let me go and research it. So then they knew that I wasn't just coming from an ego place or pulling something
Yeah.
out of my
Trying to
head, which may
pretend
have
I
been
know this.
correct. Yeah.
I know
It's
this
just that
complicated disease. I've worked with
exactly.
this. Yeah,
Yeah. But they knew that I was going to go and do a deep dive into the research because also research changes as well. Like
absolutely.
research, not research changes, but research shows that things change and move all the time. That's one of the things I love about science, that nothing is ever, static
Set in
and, and,
stone.
and
Yep.
concrete and set in stone. It's constantly changing as we learn more about the body. But
Yeah.
absolutely, I was terrified of being found out that I was fake,
Imposter, you're not good enough to be
imposter.
there. You are stupid.
Whereas
Um,
now I embrace the fact that I don't know it all.
yeah.
It means that I'm constantly learning.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I found like years ago, I used to run a pracky meetup, and it was nutritionists and naturopaths and herbalists around Brisbane. And there would be so many that would say to me, I don't really know that much. I'm going to feel stupid if I come because you guys will be talking about case studies and that. And I have no idea. And I feel like I'm not at that level yet. And I'd be like, what?
Mm.
Like everybody knows something different. And when I first started, I used to put people on a pedestal and I'd be
Mm.
like, they know so much more than me and they talk about things and topics with such ease and I have no idea what they're talking about. And so
Yeah.
I felt like I could never be there. And then one day someone said to me at one of these pracky groups is, "Oh, you know so much more than me. I have no idea about the topics or anything. And, you've been doing this for years." And she had me on a pedestal. And I was like, oh my God, I know nothing. Like, honestly, like it comes down to
But you
confidence,
do.
really.
Yeah, it really does. Absolutely. And of course, we do know a lot,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Uh,
But we're always
But
unraveling things and we learn as we grow and we don't know. So we keep going and we go down little rabbit holes. Doesn't mean you read the whole textbook, have to know it in and out before you can
no,
actually do anything.
no, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Constantly researching, being diligent in reading and learning more all the time so that you do build your confidence.
Yeah, exactly. So being wrong can feel dangerous. Why is that? Well, uh, we've grown up with things like criticism and teasing, and I used to be called stupid a lot when I was younger because I was quiet, and I never spoke up for myself. I actually wrote about that in my book. And
Yeah.
so I just created this label in my head that I was stupid and I wouldn't amount to anything because everybody else thought I was stupid. So I lived that life. I lived the life of being stupid. And it was a label that I had throughout my family. I was the quiet one who couldn't do anything. We become our labels, don't we? It's
100%.
silly. Um,
I was the same.
yeah.
Well, my journey, like I had to repeat kindergarten.
Gosh.
So
how
from
do
a
you
very
repeat
early
kindergarten?
age, well, the reality was I was so keen to go to school and I
Yeah.
lived in Goulburn, so a little country town. And the primary school was literally kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. So there were three classes. It was very small. But I really wanted to go and play with the big kids. So
Yeah.
mum and dad let me go, and the school allowed me to go and start kindergarten when I was 4 rather
Yeah.
than 5. But I was too young to then be advanced to year 1. So
Yeah. So
I
you
was
had
held
to
back
go in
because
there.
of my age, not, and look, the teacher, I will never forget it. She sat me on her lap on the last day of school and she said, "You've been such a big help this year. Do you want to stay back and help me next year
Oh, that's a good way
with
to
the
put
new
it.
kids?" Of course. So back then I
No.
I
Yeah.
didn't think, but then when I got into my teenage years, when I was being called stupid and I felt stupid and, I was, a bit left of center. I was a bit weird, got teased. Um, those sort of stories started coming back going, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Like I actually had to repeat kindergarten.
Yeah.
I
Isn't
was,
that interesting?
because I was blonde and fun loving and quite gregarious, um, I was known that way. Oh, the blonde, she's
Oh, yeah,
fun.
the dumb
And I
blonde.
took that, and as you said, you take it on. So I never went
Yeah.
to university. I finished year 12, um, and didn't go to university because I didn't think I was smart enough.
That
Like
was the
I
same
looked
as
up to all
me.
my friends who went to the, ANU and all
Mm.
these amazing universities, and I was just like, I'm not smart enough for uni.
I had that same story. I never went to uni when I left school like everyone else because I just assumed I wasn't smart enough. It's funny. And I did a lot of comparison. Like I always felt like everyone was better than me at
Yes,
things. And so
yes,
there was this humiliation, internal humiliation of if I put my hand up or I do something or I speak up and it's wrong, everyone's going to
I'm going to
laugh
look.
at me.
Yep, I'm going to
Um,
be teased.
yeah, but then as I got
I'm
older,
going to be found
I
out.
created high expectations for myself to know everything so that I
Yep.
didn't look stupid. And then that
Yes.
turned into something else completely. But let's not
A
go into
hundred
that
percent.
today. But my
Yep.
mistakes that I made when I was younger weren't seen as learning. They were seen as evidence that I was lazy, that I was dumb, that I was failing, that I wasn't good enough, and I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. They were never in my head considered that I'm learning something. It was evidence that I was stupid. It's
Yep.
amazing how quickly you can flip that as you start to do a bit of personal growth work on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm, interesting. Um, there were so many kids at my school that were obsessed with getting A's. Like they would, like, because I went to a private school. But my mom was a single mom raising me on my own. She had her own things going on that grades wasn't really a huge thing for our family. We
Mm.
never really talked about you have to get your A's, you have to do this. I was just surviving
Mm.
school because I had panic disorder at school. And so when I finished, I wasn't very smart on paper. I was smart in my head, but I was in my head. I wasn't actually concentrating on the work that was given at school. And
Yeah.
here we are today, reflecting on that and yeah, wanting to blend in, not asking questions, quiet observer.
Yep.
We're learning and we're growing in the background. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those are the ones that end up being the bright sparks, I
Mm.
find.
Yep.
Mm. Um, have you ever pretended to understand stuff?
Oh gosh, yes.
I just think of that episode with Joey and the from Friends, and he rocks up with the dictionaries, and he ends up getting the V, and he starts talking about volcanoes and everything, just so he doesn't look stupid.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, that's so
And
funny that
yeah,
episode. But I've definitely
so cute.
pretended to understand
Oh
things,
God,
but then
yeah.
it made me look more silly because
Yes.
I they'd catch you out. Like, you
Yep.
don't actually know what you're talking about. It's like, no, no, I don't. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
hanging.
really, I should don't.
Yep. Yeah. You know what? Asking for help can feel more uncomfortable than struggling to understand it, I find. Look, not
Oh,
anymore,
absolutely.
but back
No,
then.
no, no. Absolutely.
So you
Like,
would sit
when
in the
the teacher would,
pain rather than
yes.
go, I have no idea what you're saying. And I find like even
Yeah.
my son will say that, like he gets a bit lost in class, but he's too afraid to put his hand up sometimes because he doesn't want to look stupid.
Yep. I'm always so great. When I was at school and, the teacher has, and I'm going to get any questions. And I'd be sitting there and literally almost bursting because I had questions, but I would just stay silent,
Yeah.
so they didn't look stupid.
Drowning in fear of
And then I'd
what
be
might
so
happen.
grateful if somebody else asked the question.
Yeah.
And of
It's
course, no one thought they were stupid. I didn't think they were stupid. I was like, oh, thank God they've asked the question. I can learn now.
yes, what do they call? They call it the expert mask. I find there's a lot of
Mm.
experts out there that have no idea what they're talking about, but they are so confident in the way that they talk. I mean, I'm probably sound confident in what I'm talking about half the bloody time, and I don't know what I'm bloody talking about sometimes. Most of the time I do these days, guys. Most of the time
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
But it's like this anxiety mask that says, I've got this. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not stupid. I'm gonna do this. And meanwhile, you're secretly thinking, please don't find out that I don't know what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I do it anyway. And
Mm.
rather than what I'm saying. And people think you're an expert because you're doing. And it's like, I'm learning as I go here, people. I
Yeah.
don't want to be caught out while I'm doing it though. Yeah. Yes. But the signs of that are over preparing, over researching. When I first started podcasting with my previous podcast, I over prepared like massively. It
Mm.
wasn't conversational like this. Like it was quite scripted. I over researched everything. I yeah, it was full on. And there was one guy that came on as a guest. He was all over the news. He was quite a highly respected nutritionist, nutrition expert, and he'd been on huge broadcasting channels in America. And at the end of our podcast, because I was so nervous about interviewing this guy, he said to me after I stopped recording, "How did I go? Did I do okay?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." He was just as
Even
nervous as
you.
me. And I was like, "I gotta stop putting people on pedestals here. All these people I think are smarter than me are just as smart as me. They're just, yeah, doing the thing,
And
doing the thing."
that actually means that he cares, that
Yes.
the information he's relaying is actually accurate. Because we have a
Yes.
responsibility as health practitioners and also in the podcast space, we do have a responsibility. So that just meant that he
He
cared.
cares. He does. And I find many high achievers live here. Like if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm constantly telling myself I'm stupid and not good enough, people who you do put on a pedestal, who are high in whatever they're doing, like maybe you see them as, at the top of their game, they have the same thoughts. I'm not good enough to do this. I'm stupid, but they do it
Yep.
anyway. They do it
Exactly.
anyway because
Yep.
we all sort of feel like an imposter at some point in our lives, right?
Absolutely.
So this feedback that you're getting can make you feel so nauseous and sick. Like it feels like really painful. It's actually painful when you're when
Very
you're especially when
discomfort.
you're calling yourself stupid all the time.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, you're
yeah.
literally hurting your spirit and
Yes.
heart.
If someone's, you know, saying to themselves, I'm stupid. Oh, listen to me. I'm always making mistakes. Your brain's hearing that you're incompetent, that you're stupid, that you failed. Like we need to flip
You're not good
switch.
enough.
Yeah, we need to flip the switch there and know that I don't think anyone knows what they're doing, Nat. I think most people have an idea and they kind of just run with it in the hopes that no one knows that they actually don't know what they're really doing.
Exactly. That's literally the human experience. We're
Yeah.
not born with a manual of how to navigate life. We're all literally just winging it.
Yeah, exactly.
All of
Exactly.
us.
hmm Mistakes are meant to be made. And if you've ever read
Mm.
my book, if you're listening, or maybe as I was reading it out loud, the script to do my audiobook recording, we picked up so many mistakes. And you know what? I that would play on me like, oh, there's so many mistakes in this book. But just because there's a couple of typos, does it mean the whole book is worthless? No, it
Exactly.
doesn't. Not at
Mm.
all.
No,
But it's how we treat ourselves about it. One mistake in a whole book could come, I am the mistake. It could say
mm.
that I should never have published this book. If it's not good, like,
Because of a couple of
a
typos.
couple of typos. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yep. We were talking about, I think we were talking about this briefly in another podcast, the Dunning-Kruger twist. Have you heard of that before?
I have, yeah.
Yes. It's
Fascinating.
it's often the people who worry about stupid the most are actually the most highly self-aware. So often people who are quite anxious and sensitive to their environment are the ones that are picking up on all the mistakes and or even if they haven't made the mistake, not doing the thing, like not creating their podcast, not writing a book, not progressing in
Mm.
their business because they're looking at all the things that they're not up to scratch with and they
Not
could
100% it.
possibly do wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make a
Mm.
mistake, people. You have to make a mistake, and it doesn't mean you're stupid. Get
No,
that out of your head.
100%.
Gosh. Yeah.
That's where the growth happens.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
don't you don't grow from being perfect, never making a mistake. If you just cruise through every single day with literally nothing ever going wrong and you never make a mistake, you don't learn. You don't grow as a human.
Yeah. I've
How
I've met
boring. You'd
people who
stay
are
a static, boring person.
I've got people who are friends, and family that are always right. They won't listen to anything else because they are right,
Yeah.
and they
Even
cannot open their mind to the fact that they could possibly be wrong. And it's quite
if there is an
sad.
alternative answer, like you can both be right
Yeah, that's
as
true.
well,
It's true.
you
Different
know,
opinions, different
yes.
different variables, different things.
Perspectives,
Yeah, that's
experiences.
the word I was thinking of. Um, yeah, curiosity beats certainty,
Mm,
I find. Um, you can be really stuck and not move forward. My ego took a massive beating as I started to progress in my business because I realized that there were a lot of things that I wasn't that knowledgeable on. And in order to move forward, I had to kind of learn and grow and admit that I didn't know things. That was hard. And my ego took a hit
mm,
because I got to a
yeah,
point where I wanted to believe that I knew everything
you everything.
because I refused to believe that I was stupid at one point.
Yeah.
Because if I believed that I was stupid, I would feel like a failure. So I kind of flipped it. I went from thinking I was a failure to thinking, okay, nah, I'm the opposite. Like you could be either end, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. In my mind, I know everything, therefore I'm not a failure. I'm successful.
Yeah. Wow.
Our
The
brains,
stories. I
honestly.
know. Anxiety loves certainty. So being right gives us control. It
Yeah.
gives us safety.
Safety.
It gives us predictability. And being wrong creates uncertainty. And
Mm.
uncertainty is anxiety's favorite playground. So sometimes the goal isn't being right, the goal is learning how to be wrong safely.
Yeah.
How can I say, I don't know this? Or can you explain that? Do you find that hard to still say those words, Nat?
Not anymore. No.
Yeah.
Purely because I had to practice it. I had to swallow my pride, swallow my fear and anxiety, and start saying that. And realizing that the first time I said it, they didn't look at me and go, "Oh my God, you're so stupid. You don't know this." Though people love to help.
Yeah. People
People love
love
to
to
show their
teach.
own
Yeah.
expertise.
Give
You
that
know?
space. Well, that's what I was saying as I teach kids and in primary schools and high schools. When I'm on the stage and they ask me questions, sometimes I don't know the answer, and they get to
Yeah.
explain and they get to talk to me about something. And I'm like, "Ah, that is so cool. I didn't know that. And you just taught me that. And I'm going to tell people that. That's a great story. Like,
Yeah.
that lights their soul up, giving people
Yeah,
the
you've just
space
boosted
to educate.
them. Yeah.
Let them have that space. And, I met up with a friend not long ago. He's a business coach. He coaches men in business. And he was saying to me, because I said to him, do you get annoyed when someone who, for example, let's say someone who isn't a nutritionist is trying to educate you on a topic that you're very read up on and professional on, and they're trying to tell you about it? Do you quickly let your ego take over and go, I already know that. I'm a nutritionist. Or do you sit there and nod along and go, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Like, do you find sometimes that your ego wants to show others that you're not stupid and you already know about that? Why are you
Of
telling me
course.
something I already know?
Of course. But being more mindful, I do exactly what you said, the latter. I let
Yeah.
them
You just nod your head and
talk
smile.
and nod and smile and let them talk. And then, you know, I then might after they've finished talking, I might say, that's really, really interesting information. La la la. Thank you. I then might, if there's some critical things, I might then say, gently say, oh, look, this is what I do for a living. Have you thought of this?
Yeah.
Or more recent research suggests this. But yeah, I let if someone's like a know-it-all and they just want to they're just wanting to show how much they know of something, and even if they have no idea, I don't I don't have
Yeah.
that. My ego doesn't get in the way anymore. I just
Yeah.
I just let it go,
Mine
and I just
used to.
smile and nod and go thank you, and then walk off and let it go.
Oh. And this has happened where I've been at the other end of the stick. I went to a business event and everyone had to get up on the microphone and introduce themselves and talk a bit about themselves. And the guy sitting next to me, he was a guest to the event and he was sort of shuffling around in his seat. And I said to him, because I could pick up on a nervous energy. And sometimes we pick up on the wrong energy, right? And I
Yeah.
totally picked up on the wrong energy. And I said to him, you don't have to get up the front. You can just stand here and talk on the mic. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm okay. And I was like, oh, it's just like if you're uncomfortable going up in front of everyone. And he's like, that's all good. And I was like, oh, okay. I was trying to, down regulate. He gets up on the mic and talks about his business. He is a voice coach and helps people talk on microphones. And he was very good. And I felt like the biggest doofus. But you know what? I didn't know. I picked up on the wrong. And he came back and he smiled at me. And I could tell his ego was a little bit like, told ya I was fine. And I had a bit of a chuckle and I'm like, wow, you're really great. And so, yeah, sometimes we give people advice and they clearly don't need it. But, it's the intention behind it that, that counts.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
mean well, but sometimes, you
Yes.
kind of stick your foot in it and look like a goober. But, you're meant to look like a goober. I find if I do something that makes me feel like a goober, I point out the fact that I feel like a goober, and then that person laughs at me and goes, yeah, it's fine. And then we have a chuckle and we move on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you do
Yeah.
say silly, silly things and we
Oh God,
reflect on
yeah.
that. But yeah, we're all normal, we're all human. Ugh,
Absolutely.
yes. So I feel like we've kind of gotten to the end of this podcast.
Yeah, we have.
I mean, we could talk about being stupid forever, really, but
I know. We have many examples. But
do I've got one example for you here. This will make you laugh. When I was younger,
mm,
I was reading a book out loud to someone, and it was talking about fatigue, and I'd never seen the physical word fatigue before. I was calling it fatigue.
uh,
And I did the
I
same
love
with
it.
the word, depot, like a depot, like a bus
Yep.
depot. I
Yep.
added the T on
Teapot.
the end, a
Yep.
depot,
Teapot. Yep.
depot.
I did that.
And people would laugh and they go, oh, no, 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 the word is this. And you'd go red in the face and you'd be like, oh my God, I feel like a goose. I've said the wrong word. But then you have a chuckle and everyone moves on. So,
And
yeah.
you actually then learned how to pronounce it correctly by saying it out loud incorrectly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you had never said that out loud, to this day, you could in your mind be going Depot.
Yes. I
You
always
know,
wondered what fatigue was. Like, what's
thank you. I love that
fatigue?
one. That's brilliant.
What is fatigue? I mean, this wasn't yesterday. This was a while ago. I mean, it could have been yesterday, but but
Yep.
yeah, I found that interesting that these
Mine
words
was
I'd been
facetious, the word facetious.
facetious,
Because reading it, I'd be like, facetious, like, what is that? And then when I realized someone, because I said it out loud and someone corrected me and said, oh, that's facetious. And I went, oh, because I knew the word facetious because my mum used
yeah,
that word all the time.
yeah.
But I didn't put the two together. That was the same word. I was like, oh, okay.
Yes. Do you ever find
So
like
we learn.
before we wrap up, there's one more thought that I had when you go to like a party or a gathering and everyone's talking about something and they're all in thought and then they ask you a question and you have to announce to the group that you don't know what this particular word or person is that they're talking about and
Yeah.
they all kind of look at you like oh, they have actually have, here's one more share which all of the Queenslanders and New South Wales will laugh at me here. I'm actually from Adelaide. and I grew up in Queensland, but my whole family are Adelaide people. So keep that in mind when I tell you this story. We were on the bus, and all of the girls and the boys from my high school were going to the state of origin. And they're like, oh, which team are you going to support, Sam? And I said, who's playing? And they all laughed at me. And I went red in the face, and I'm like, I don't follow the state of origin. That's not a thing in my family.
I
And
asked
they're
exactly
like,
the same question.
I'm like, who's playing? And they all laughed, and they're like, it's Queensland and New South Wales. What do you mean who's playing? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I just like kind of sunk into myself on the bus, and they're all cracking up laughing at my, you know, my stupidity. But yeah, it's yeah.
I
Anyway,
asked exactly the same question, Sammy, years ago. Who's playing?
yeah.
So
I go there because it's not a
you're in
thing
good
in
company.
South Australia. Unless you're
You
from
just don't
Queensland and New
follow
South Wales,
footy.
you got no idea. Yeah, yeah. Doesn't mean that I'm
Moral of that story is
stupid.
we don't follow footy.
Yeah, well, there you go. I don't really do that. I used to play it, but I never really followed it that much. Anyway, the smartest people in the room aren't usually the ones talking the most. Interesting. I talk a lot in
Mm.
rooms, so I do you agree with that statement? I think maybe not. Depends on what you got to say, because I enjoy talking to people. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think of that statement?
I mean, I've read that statement before. I do tend to agree with it.
Yeah,
It's different to, I
I
think
guess
it
it
comes back
depends.
to, it's more relating to, like not just chatty, when you're in a group of people, but if you're in a learning environment or something, it's the people, literally
Listening
what we were saying before. The people that are listening are usually the smartest people there.
and the
And they
questions.
also know, smarter
Yeah.
people know that, words carry weight. I'm not going to
Yes.
expend my energy on wasteless words.
Yes. Someone once said to me, you have two ears and one mouth. Use them
Exactly.
accordingly. I was like, what?
There's a reason for that.
And then I realized it.
100%.
Oh, that's interesting. All right. Well, do you want to throw a reflective question in that so we can wrap up, or
Okay.
yay, you're taking it in turns.
I know. How lovely is this? Where in your life are you working harder to look competent, to look more competent than you are, to stay curious? And what might happen if you gave yourself permission to not know everything?
That was a stupid question. No, I'm joking.
I'm
Look at your face.
sorry.
No, that was great. Where in your life are you working harder to look more confident? Yeah,
Mm,
interesting. I mean, we don't
yeah.
really do that on this podcast, do we? I'm not trying to look competent, am I?
No, I hope we don't. We make mistakes. And, even when the editing is being done, we keep in a lot
That
of
people would
of the
normally
stuff.
chop out. Yes,
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly. Keep it real because we're human.
Exactly. So maybe anxiety isn't making you need to be right. Maybe anxiety is trying to protect a younger version of you who once felt stupid, embarrassed, or not enough. And perhaps true north isn't proving yourself. It's learning that your worth was never dependent on having all the answers. And on that note, Nat, I think it's time we wrap up and say goodbye.
I think so too.
Have a great
Goodbye.
day, everyone. We will
Yeah, have
see
a
you
beautiful
soon.
day.
Bye. Thanks for joining us on the Anxiety Compass. If you loved this episode, share it with a friend who needs a little laugh and a lot of calm. We'll see you in the next one. Keep following your true north. Disclaimer time. Sammy and Natalie may be clinical nutritionists, but we're not your personal doctors. What you hear is for learning and laughing, not diagnosing or prescribing. If things feel bigger than you, call your doctor or local support line or reach out to a qualified health professional. They've got your back too.